A pleasant good morning from the nation's capital in Monrovia. Welcome to Newsnet. 45 minutes of news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Today is the 30th of July, and I'm Olive Stevenson anchoring this edition. This newscast is relayed on the Voice of Hope in Plebo-Sodican, Maryland County. In our headlines, President Weah declares that he will be the bridge that will connect Liberia and Liberians, as Public Works Minister Yimpan discloses that saga over payment of the road fund by petroleum importers have been settled. Two Christian clerics gave mixed views on Liberia's path to reconciliation. Bishop Seyankolo pushes for the establishment of war crime court, but Bishop Winger prefers a dissenting opinion, says forgiveness is the way forward. Representative Hassan Kezulu says Liberia is at the verge of sliding back to a one-party democracy if those compelling citizens to join one party are not resisted. And away from Liberia, Egyptian court sentenced 75 people to death for their role in the violence that erupted after President Mohamed Morsi removed her in 2013, as Zimbabwe's ex-president Robert Mugabe says he will not support the successor of ZANU-PF party. Our top stories, the news bulletin, the actual voices of those making the news, including foreign developments, and your text reaction coming into our Facebook page, all packaged in this edition. We're taking a very quick break to be right back. Welcome back to Newsnet. Up next is the Bulletin of News and Wulokwe Yega. Good morning, Yega.
Good morning, Olive. Good morning, everyone. President George Weah has declared that he will be the bridge that will connect the country and its people. The president's statement once again is his government's full obligation to the pavement of the roads network of the entire country to alleviate the traveling difficulties Liberians are enduring, while at the same time enhance trade and commerce. He spoke in Raleigh, Painesville, during the groundbreaking ceremony for the expansion and rehabilitation of the stretch of road between LIBERIA and Coca-Cola factory. The president also made an analogy between opportunity and performance to insinuate that he has a duty to perform as president to meet the needs of the Liberian people because they have given him the opportunity to prove himself worthy of their trust. President Weah said he will do everything within his reach to make Liberia a better place than it has been over the 170 years of existence. The Liberian leader commended Liberia's development partners, led by the European Union and World Bank, for standing with Liberia in its quest for infrastructural transformation. At the same time, President Weah has mandated Public Works Minister Mabutu Yimpan to ensure the pavement of all feeder roads in the economic zone of Monrovia. He urged him to work with the Minister of Finance and Development Planning for the execution of the mandate so that all feeder roads are paved across Monrovia, in addition to the pavements done by former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. He praised Minister Yimpan for the excellent work he is doing, merely referencing the works being done with the Dole Community Road project, which is nearing completion. The president also called on the Liberian media to work with the government to achieve its goals, as the media is a partner of the government. At the same time, Public Works Minister Mabutu Yimpan says saga relating to the pavement of the road fund by all petroleum importers have been settled. Minister Yimpan said the case has been withdrawn by the parties concerned. According to him, the legislature has approved the collection of 40 cents levied on every petroleum product brought into the country. The Public Works Minister spoke during the weekend in Painesville at the groundbreaking ceremony of the rehabilitation of road from Coca-Cola factory to ELW Junction. The 53rd legislature passed an act called the National Road Fund for the purpose of financing road and bridge maintenance works and directly associated planning, programming, and management activities, obligating petroleum importers to pay US 25 cents on every gallon of petroleum. The cumulative sum from these charges was projected to be US 30 million for 20 17 in an attempt to collect the charges from petroleum importers. Shemesh Oil and Gas sought a stay on the action from the Supreme Court, arguing that the IMSC is acting in contravention of the law. The Justice in Chambers, Associate Justice Cabinet Janet, granted the petitioner's request, staying the action and ordering all parties to return to status quo. The Archbishop of the Dominion Christian Fellowship, as Winker, says forgiveness is the surest way for enhancing lasting peace and stability in the country. Archbishop Winker indicated that the country must focus on forgiveness as a way forward instead of focusing on the establishment of a war crime court in Liberia. He made a statement to reporters in Monrovia Sunday when the Lutheran Church and host of civil society organizations observed the 28th memorial service and the first national memorialization of the infamous St. Peter Lutheran Church massacre. According to the Archbishop, until the mind is free, there will always be revenge on a particular issue. Also speaking, the Lutheran Church of Liberia Bishop Dr. Jason Seyikolo at the memorial service underscored the need for those who perpetrated heinous crimes to account for their action through the establishment of a special justice court. Meanwhile, Phoebe Herons, the chairperson of the Citizens Action Movement for the establishment of a war crime court in Liberia, said despite many resistances, his group still remains committed to ensuring that justice is served through the establishment of the court in the country. Montserrat County District 17 Representative Hassan Kelzulu says no import-based economy has short-term solution. Representative Kelzulu said government must institute radical measures in order to resuscitate Liberia's broken economy. Kelzulu is, however, recommending the establishment of a subsidy program for all cash crop farmers in the country. The Montserrat lawmaker, among other things, said it's necessary for government to deploy agriculture students at various farms to offer expertise. At the same time, Kelzulu says Liberia is at the verge of sliding back to a one-party democracy if those compelling citizens to join one party are not resisted. The lawmaker spoke during the weekend when he delivered a keynote address at the closing program of the J.J. Ross High School in Monrovia. International Bank Liberia Limited has highlighted the significance of keeping students engaged with skills enhancing and left building extracurricular activities during the vacation period. International Bank believes in community-centered programs that enhance citizenry and promote principles in life with the company's values of trust, integrity, teamwork, and excellence. A release from the bank states that while the vacation period is a time for rest from scholarly activities, it is also beneficial to ensure students are introduced to other skills that will foster career development and make them well-rounded individuals. Armed robbers have burglarized the compound of the Catholic priest in Tottenborough, Bomi County, and made away with cash and other valuables. Speaking to newsmen during the weekend, the Catholic priest, Father Gary Jenkins, said the unknown armed men entered his compound around 3:30 a.m. and threatened to kill him if he failed to give the keys to his savings. Father Gray stated that while in that process, the robbers also threatened to kill all the boys residing on the school's dormitory. According to the Catholic priest, the armed robbers made away with money, laptop computers, and a vehicle that was later found in Clay District. Deputy House Speaker Prince Moy says Liberian taxpayers are very important to the growth and development of the country. Deputy Speaker Moy said financial resources collected from taxpayers can also help in the forward march of Liberia. He indicated that though lawful revenues collected from Liberian taxpayers are helpful but are not sufficient for developmental purposes. He, however, stressed the need for international partners to always scale up their interventions by buttressing the efforts of Liberia's fiscal envelope. He spoke over the weekend during programs marking Taxpayer Appreciation Day held at the Monrovia City Hall. For his part, the economic advisor to the president of Liberia, Charles Bright, said those who pay huge taxes can only happen as a result of what he earned from their businesses. He then commended Liberians and foreign nationals who were awarded at the Taxpayers Appreciation Day by the Liberia Revenue Authority. At the same time, the Liberian Revenue Authority Acting Commissioner General Vekonti Saki says the LRA is rolling out a lot of reform measures geared towards encouraging voluntary compliance through the payment of taxes. Saki named the electronic filing system as an instrument intended to collect government lawful revenues. According to her, with the creation of the electronic filing system, business and personal income taxes, as well as advanced quarterly payments, can be acquired through the use of the system. She made a statement over the weekend at the LRA Taxpayer Appreciation Day at the Monrovia City Hall. The LRA awarded about 39 business institutions operating in the country for their exceptional payment of taxes to government. John F. Kennedy Medical Center's Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Jerry Brown, has vowed to make JFK a hospital of choice in line with the government proper agenda. Dr. Brown said that JFK as a referral hospital will be an area where Liberians will no longer be afraid to undergo advanced medical treatment. He said under the new leadership of the hospital, prices for different medical treatments would also be reduced in order to commensurate with the government's proper agenda. He spoke during the weekend when the JFK commemorated its 47th anniversary since existence. Also speaking, Health Minister Dr. Wilhelmina Njala admonished those working at the hospital to be professional in the discharge of their duties. Minister Njala, however, pledged to be supportive to the leadership of the new JFK management team. Deputy Finance Minister for Fiscal Affairs, Samora Wolokoli, has asserted that it is unfair for detractors to compare the government's 6-month achievements to past administration. Speaking over the weekend in Monrovia, Wolokoli said, though the CDC-led government appreciates criticism from opposition, but urged them not to neglect the government proper achievements in the short space of time. He said the CDC government is committed to improving the living standards of the ordinary people, especially in the area of rural connectivity and better education. And a 2-day intensive training on a new international financial reporting standards has ended in Monrovia with focus on building the skills of professional accountants in the country. The training, which was organized by the Liberian Institute of Certified Public Accountants, also brought together over 60 participants from various commercial banks across Monrovia. Speaking minutes after the program, LIBERIA President Stevenson said the primary objective of the training is to address the human resource gap of professional accountants, which according to him has been void over the years. That's the news bulletin. It's back to Olive Stevenson for the continuation of Newsnet.
We would like to say many thanks to you, Lokwe Yega, for filling us in with the latest from our news center. Well, if you're just tuning in, the program you're listening to is Newsnet on OKFM 99.5. And stories we follow in this morning. President Weah declares that he will be the bridge that will connect Liberia and Liberians, as Public Works Minister Yimpan discloses that saga over payment of roll phones petroleum importers have been settled. Two Christian clerics have mixed views on Liberia's path to reconciliation. Bishop Seyenkolo pushes for the establishment of war crimes court, but Bishop Winger profers dissenting opinions, said forgiveness is the way forward. Representative Hassan Kezolo says Liberia is at the verge of sliding back to a one-party democracy if those compelling citizens to join one party are not resolved. resisted. And away from Liberia, Egyptian court sentenced 75 people to death for their role in the violence that erupted after President Mohamed Morsi removed her in 2013, as Zimbabwe's ex-president Robert Mugabe said he will not support his successor in the ZANU-PF party. With that, we take our first development. President George Manuel Weah has declared that he will be the bridge that will connect the country and its people. The president's statement once again stands as an attestation of his government's full obligation to the pavement of roads network of the entire country to alleviate agonizing traveling difficulties Liberians are enduring, while at the same time enhance trade and commerce. President Weah said he will do everything within his reach to make Liberia a better place than it has been over the years.
So, since we have land that is rich, and we have people that can work, getting the road is good. If we grow, if we get a road, we can go to Guinea, you come back, and those people that do agriculture will run back to Morocco, see the crop, and see the food, and go back. So when I think of fixing the road, don't be afraid. And I give to you a statement that I will be the bridge. I will connect Liberia and Liberians. That's all I was doing. And I will go. And I first thing when I go, I am the bridge that will connect Liberia and Liberia. If I will not achieve anything in this country, I will make sure that Liberia and Libya go to the tomorrow and come back. You ask me for my platform. My platform is to build the road network. That's my platform. Because by building a road, you will be grown. Mr. Public Works Minister, Mabutu Yipa, if we were in the government agitates, I will honor you. I will not honor you. I will mandate you.
President George Manuel Weah there declaring that he will be the bridge that will connect the country and its people. Public Works Minister Mabutu Yipa said saga relating to the payment of the road fund by all petroleum importers have been settled. Minister Yipa said the case has been withdrawn by the parties concerned.
I'm pleased to announce to you that all issues surrounding the payment of the road fund levied by all petroleum importers, all of those issues have been settled. The case in court has been withdrawn by the aggrieved party, so we no longer have any case in court. In addition, the legislation has given approbation to the collection of 30% levy on every petroleum product imported into the Republic of Liberia. In terms of the arrears, arrangements have been finalized, and all petroleum importers have agreed that the arrears will be settled. The Liberian Revenue Authority, as we speak, is proceeding with the collection of the road fund levy. Against this backdrop, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, we want to say to you in a very special way, in this public manner, that your concerted efforts and your decisive stance have enabled us to bring to a closure the road fund saga. We want to thank you for this leadership.
Public Works Minister Mabutu Yipa there speaking during the weekend in Painesville at the groundbreaking ceremony of the rehabilitation of road from Coca-Cola Factory to LY Junction. Meanwhile, Minister Yipa has said government has organized a program to facilitate the payment of those who are to be affected directly as a result of imminent demolition during the period of the road rehabilitation work. Minister Yipa urged beneficiaries to have themselves relocated effective September this year. He revealed that demolition of structures along the road corridors will begin October 1st, 2018.
We have put together a program and organized a community-based grieving that as soon as you receive your payment, begin to relocate. Of the period of compensation for the first phase, demolition will begin immediately. And so this is notice to all of us. We from best policy and practices up to the end of September 30th, to be able to relocate. Beginning October 1, we will begin with the process of demolition. And so upon receipt of your payment, begin to utilize the period that has been provided to relocate. Your Excellency, Mr. President, the Ministry of Public Works likes to also give notice that for those who are between red light and EFWA, while we are dealing with phase 1, we encourage you to go to the Pinsville City Corporation or the Pinsville Magisterial Court to get your attestation of ownership, because after the first phase, we'll now move to the second phase.
Minister Mambutu Yimpa there speaking. Swedish ambassador to Liberia, Ms. Ingrid Waterquist, spoke on behalf of the European Union. Ambassador Waterquist said the road construction work will provide employment and expand economic growth.
Mr. President, Dr. George Manewe, Your Excellency, Cabinet Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to stand on the existing protocol and to be very, very brief. I'm speaking on behalf of a number of donors who are members of the European Union and through European Union as our joint project. We're very happy to contribute to these. Mr. President, building roads means that you're connecting things. You're connecting the countryside with the cities, you're connecting people with markets, you are connecting different parts of Liberia, and you are connecting the present with the future. We've heard your priorities for the Pro-Poor Agenda for Prosperity and Development. We heard you prioritize education, health, infrastructure, and the creation of jobs for young people.
Swedish ambassador to Liberia, Ms. Ingrid Waterquist. The U.S. $10.5 million project is being financed by the World Bank, European Union, the governments of Germany, Ireland, Sweden, Liberia, and the UK. The Archbishop of the Dominion Christian Fellowship, Isaac Winger, says forgiveness is to show us way for enhancing lasting peace and stability in the country. He made a statement to reporters in Monrovia Sunday when the Lutheran Church and host of civil society organizations observed the 28th memorial service and the first national memorialization of the infamous St. Peter's Lutheran Church massacre.
I think that the better thing we can do than, spending our time on that. Speaking of forgiveness is the way out. It's the way forward. And I think that's where we should direct our attention. We must build this nation and we must bring prosperity into this nation.
There are some who say war crimes is needed because there's need for justice.
Well, that's their view. But like I stated, forgiveness is the way out. In my own little way, forgiveness is the way out. If I revenge on you, you have children. Your children will revenge on me, and that will be a continual thing. So we'll never get anywhere. Have you identified the perpetrator? Have you been able to identify them? If you can identify them, then something else can be done. But I'm saying in my own little way, the way forward to helping bringing stability to this nation is forgiving.
He's the Archbishop of the Dominion Christian Fellowship, Isaac Winger. Also speaking, the Lutheran Church of Liberia, Bishop Dr. Jensen Seyankolo, at a memorial service underscored the need for those who perpetrate heinous crimes to account for their actions through establishment of a special justice court.
Reconciliation without justice is halfway done. I think that we need to work on bringing people to justice. If we can set up our own court and people are brought to justice through that, that will work too. But I think that we should not leave that part out. Personally, I think just so people admit their faults and apologize for what they have done. If nothing else, I would like to see that done.
But the Bible does talk about forgiveness.
Yes, and that's what you don't. I mean, you can't be forgiven in a vacuum. You don't say, "I forgive you." You don't even know. I don't even know what I have done. You just say, "Forgive me." You forgive me. How does that work? I have to admit that I've done something, and I say sorry. That's why the law says you call your brother if you have something against him, tell him, and talk about it. That's part of talking about it, which is you let the person know what they have done and let them say, "Oh yes, I did it. I'm sorry," or "I didn't realize what I was doing. I didn't mean that," and then you move on.
Dr. Jensen Seyankolo is the Bishop of the Lutheran Church of Liberia. Meanwhile, Phoebe Henrins, the chairperson of the Citizens Action Movement for the establishment of a war crime court in Liberia, said despite many resistance, his group still remains committed to ensuring that justice is served through the establishment of the court in the country.
Citizen Action for the establishment of War and Economic Crimes Code, we have not given up the fight. We stay pushing. Just this gone Tuesday, we met with the UN High Commissioner of Human Rights, and the UN has given us their full commitment that they are in this fight with us to ensure that justice is served. So we're not reneging at any point. So we need more voices to be added so that this quest can end. It has been a 20+ years marathon. We need to put it to an end. 250,000+ persons that lost their lives. We all want to see a National Memorial Day, because if just today, the 29th, a few days from now will also be the JFK massacre.
Phoebe Henrins is the chairperson of the Citizens Action Movement for the establishment of a war crime court in Liberia. Mansorado County District 17 Representative Hatton Kezolu says no import-based economy has short-term solution. Representative Kezolu said government must institute radical measures in order to resuscitate Liberia's broken economy.
An import-based economy like ours has no short-term solution to our many and numerous economic problems. If the microeconomic tools available cannot buffer the best macroeconomic prescriptions, I tell you, there is no short-term solution. The president will try, but the people will be dependent. And people that depend on the government to provide import subsidy, I tell you, can never boast of their independence. For me, as a Mountains Polium and as a public CQ and as a public financial management specialist, I have a few prescriptions to revise our economy. One, government must radically establish a subsidy program for cash crop farmers. Two, government must neutralize the agricultural students at various universities and deploy them on various farms like they do with the medical students from WTA. Government must give direct funding to farmers that are involved with different categories of cash crop farming. Four, this is top off. Four, our prisoners, those are involved in crime, at the central prison, must provide labor on farms based on the crime and the durations of their punishment.
Montserrat County District 17 Representative Hansen Kezulu. At the same time, Kezulu says Liberia is at the verge of sliding backward on a one-party democracy if those compelling citizens to join the party are not resisted. The lawmaker spoke during the weekend when he delivered keynote address at the closing program of the J.J. Ross High School in Monrovia.
For our unity to be strong, affirmative actions needed to be taken with no regard to partisanship. This country must revise its dependency proclamation. Sometimes when you listen to our local news, you will understand that individuals or some of those principal actors in society are calling on every citizen of the country to join one party, one political party, before they can be given or have access to government provided opportunities. It is saddening to say they are doing it so at their own detriment, because such a call will equally revise again that has been made for multi-party democracy in our country.
Montserrat County District 17 Representative Hansen Kezulu. Let's now take some of your text reaction coming into our Facebook page. This one says, "Good morning, OKFM and the peace-loving people of Kwanimboni District, Lofa County. The government needs to forego the too much of groundbreaking events. We are now concerned about the implementation of those existing projects. In as much we don't doubt the credibility of this government, it will be expedient to bring out tangible than these mere promises. The Liberian people are suffering. The paramount objective is the reduction of hardship." From Dole community, he says his name is Vafi J.M. Ducle. And this one says, "Good morning, OKFM and the peace-loving people of Soniwen Community District 8. Citizens and Liberians in general. OKFM, if President Weah connects Liberians and Liberia positively, I don't think opposition will have problem with that. OKFM, Liberia is our home and it's the only place we won't be deported from. I advise that President Weah leave the too much talks for now and do what he was elected for. OKFM, backers Matthew Dr. Fambule Tipote Alaric Tokpa, efforts to bring a multi-party democracy can be overthrown in the sea. In a nutshell, Liberia can never be a one-party state, even if CDC is to go for 2 terms. Trust me, when the people's expectation is dashed, the same electors will employ that person or party in power. The people of Liberia must always be treated with respect and love, regardless of who they are. Lastly, I support Honorable Hassan Kezulu's statement that says agriculture students should be taken on the farm to provide their expertise. In doing so, let them be materially and monetarily empowered. And his name is Jim Naplasco Fala. He writes from Soniwen Community. And this one says, "Good morning, OKFM News Net. And good morning to the resilient citizens of Sino County. OKFM, did I hear President Weah saying he will be the bridge to connect Liberia, all Liberians? Why a welcoming remark from the poor president. We await to see a bridge of good governance, hospitality, and inclusiveness taken into consideration that Liberia belongs to all Liberians. I agree with Dr. Jensi Seyankolo of the Lutheran Church of Liberia that a special justice court should be established in Liberia to prosecute those who committed heinous crimes during the 14 years political catalysm in Liberia." And he says his name is Hilton Wule Jedo, and he writes from Lokin Town. This one says, "Good morning, OKFM, and to the peace-loving people of the motherland. My name is Sopranic Goa, and I write from Jamaica Road. Let me once again congratulate the president for recommitting himself to the pro-poor agenda of his party, connecting the rest of the counties of Monrovia It's a welcoming development. As such, every Liberian must embrace the idea of development because the development of this country squarely lies on the shoulder of every Liberian. Let me use this medium to find out from the government of Liberia how far are we with the Elton and Iboma loan agreement. Please bring us to speed with the status of this agreement. I'm just concerned. God bless Liberia. His name is Goa Sopranic. And let's now take this development. Armed robbers have burglarized the compound of the Catholic priest in Tottenberg, Bomi County, and made away with cash and other valuables. Our correspondent in that county said no one have been arrested in connection to the armed robbery. Percy Foley further disclosed another armed robbery incident took place at the home of Kendra Johnson, former managing director of the Forestry Development Authority in Bomi County.
According to Father Barry, the attack had took place over the weekend in around about 3:30, where in those hours when they entered, they began to flop those students that were on campus and even charged some of them mob and even took bond and contrary on those final that were on campus that morning. According to him, they take away 2 laptops and United dollars along with a vehicle belonging to the parish.
Anybody got hurt as a result of the situation?
No, there were no casualties. The only thing they did was to point a gun and tie these guys up and even tie some of them because they wanted money from the police so that they can be able to make their way out.
How was it like in terms of response by the Liberian National Police?
When this armed robbery took place, they decided to go and chase after these guys that did the act. But according to them, they disclosed that the vehicle that they even took from the parish, they went as far as they were the front day to the vehicle. But according to them, no arrests have been made and they are still undergoing investigation in order to make sure that they find these perpetrators.
Percy Foley is our Bomi County correspondent. Deputy House Speaker Prince Moise says Liberian taxpayers are very important to the growth and development of the country. Deputy Speaker Moise said financial resources collected from taxpayers can also help in the forward march of the country. He, however, indicated that though lawful revenues collected from Liberia taxpayers are helpful, but are not sufficient for developmental purposes.
Appropriation is based on the assumptions that the Revenue Authority and the Ministry of Finance and Development planning provide us. So in actuality, we don't see the money, but they come and tell us, look, this will come from the goods and services tax, this will come from real estate, this will come from different sources. And then we rely on their expertise to do appropriation to different ministries and agencies. So in short, our taxpayers are very important to the growth and development of our country. But when I listen to our partner, the USAID director here, stressing the need that taxpayers should see the work of their taxes they pay. That's good. But we are in an economy that is quite tight. Our tax revenue, our revenue envelope is quite tight in the sense that this fiscal year that ended, you have a wage bill of more than $280 million.
Deputy Health Speaker Prince Moise there speaking. For his part, the economic advisor to the President of Liberia, Charles Bright, says those who pay huge taxes can only happen as a result of what they earn from their businesses. He then commended Liberians and foreign nationals who were awarded at the Taxpayer Appreciation Day by the Liberian Revenue Authority.
We see that there are 39 awards that were given out this evening, up from I think 30 last year. We'd like this number to increase exponentially so that next year or a year after next, in the next 3 or 4 years, we can be up over 200, 300, 400 taxpayers that are being fully compliant. We thank all of you for your own commitment and dedication. And as was stated earlier, the idea that you have voluntarily paid your taxes in such large amounts, Liberia is grateful.
economic advisor to the President of Liberia, Charles Bright. Liberian Revenue Authority Acting Commissioner General Dekonti Saki says the LRA is rolling out a lot of reform measures geared towards encouraging voluntary compliance through the payment of taxes. Madam Saki named the electronic filing system as an instrument intended to collect government lawful revenue. She made a statement over the weekend at the LRA Taxpayer Appreciation Day at the Monrovia City Hall.
Over the last 12 months, the Liberia Revenue Authority have introduced direct transfer for the payment of taxes and now requires this as the medium of payment for all our large taxpayers. We created a centralized assessment unit that has upgraded the customs Asakuda system and provides for a paperless customs clearance process, and we have our Asakuda system now published via the internet. We've also introduced the payment of taxes via mobile money on both of our telecommunication network, Orange and MTN. Today, with the support from the United States Agency for International Development, RG3 project, the LRA is excited that an e-filing application has been completed.
Dekonti Saki is the Acting Commissioner General of the Liberian Revenue Authority. The LRA awarded about 39 business institutions operating in the country for their exceptional payment of taxes to government. Speaking on behalf of those awarded, Orange Liberia Chief Executive Officer Mamadou Coulibaly thanked the Liberian Revenue Authority for recognizing the efforts of most diligent taxpayers in the country.
Our colleagues, all of our taxpayers awarded today, I will say thanks. Thanks to LRA, thanks to Liberian government and all the authorities, and thanks to the President of Liberia. We are proud, we are continuing to play our role to help Liberia to grow for more development. Thank you again.
Orange Liberia Chief Executive Officer Mamadou Coulibaly. John F. Kennedy Medical Center's Chief Executive Officer Dr. Jerry Brown has vowed to make JFK a hospital of choice in line with the government pro-poor agenda. Dr. Brown said the JFK is a referral hospital. As a referral hospital will be an area where Liberians will no longer be afraid to undergo advanced medical treatment. He spoke during the weekend when JFK commemorated its 47th anniversary since its existence.
But what this administration foresee is to ensure, when we talk about the hospital of choice, many patients, when they decide upon going to a hospital, there are many things they think about. The first thing about how well will they be valued when they got to the hospital. So that's one thing we're trying to put in the minds of our workers. First, how can we work on the consciousness of our staff to ensure that when you come to JFK, we all value you. And to do so, we first chose to value our workers. If we don't value our workers, they won't value you. So that's one appeal we want to give to you too. As you come to JFK for service, value the people that are offering you service. If you value them, they will value you.
Dr. Jerry Brown is the Chief Executive Officer of JFK. Also speaking, Health Minister Dr. Wilhelmina Njala admonished those working at the hospital to be professionals in the discharge of their duties. Minister Njala, however, pledged to be supportive to the leadership of the new JFK management team.
That quality health care must be provided in the interest of the patient. And because of that, during my time here, it was very difficult because I disagreed with the administration that was here when they wanted to do things, and I said it can't be done in the interest of the patient. They always asked me, whose side are you on? And I always told them I was on the side of the patient. And God in His wisdom have brought me to the level where I can make that difference. And He had directed my path back to my own JFK. And he did not leave me alone because he gave me dynamic people as the leaders who share the same passion and same vision that I have for this institution.
Health Minister Dr. Wilhelmina Njala. Deputy Finance Minister for Fiscal Affairs Samora Wolokoli has asserted that it is unfair for detractors to compare the government's 6-month achievements to past administration. Speaking over the weekend in Monrovia, Wolokoli said, though the CDC-led government appreciates criticism from opposition, but urged them not to neglect the government proper achievement in a short space of time.
To make that kind of comparison, the comparison must be similar. 6 months must be compared with 6 months. If you want to compare what has happened before in Liberia in a 6 months government, you must compare what has happened with the government that have come 6 months.
Deputy Finance Minister for Fiscal Affairs Samora Wolokoli. A 2-day intensive training on the new international fiscal reporting standards has ended in Monrovia with focus on building the skills of professional accountants in the country. Speaking minutes after the program, LIPA's president, Steve Samurula, said the primary objective of the training is to address the human resource gap of professional accountants with according to him has been void over the years.
Let me just put it short. The real challenge in the profession of accountancy in Liberia is human resources and knowledge. We are not many. You can see the LICP, like Ghana and Nigeria, I think Ghana has so close to about 6,000, 7,000 chartered accountants. Nigeria has close to 45,000. And as the economy grows, you see a lot of people, being able to take responsibilities everywhere.
LIPA's president, Steve Samarua. Let's now take your last batch of your reaction coming into our Facebook page. This one says, good morning, OKFM, and good morning to the peace-loving people of the motherland. Let me use this occasion to thank and appreciate our beloved president for his commitment to transform this country through the better. I've never doubted his ability to transform this country because of the love and passion he has for this country and its people. I am of the conviction that he is definitely going to be the bridge that is going to connect Liberia to Liberians. Please continue to do whatever positive things your heart tells you to do. For Mama Liberia, Fire, J. Bobody writes. This one says, good morning to the patient. It should be peace-loving people of Liberia and comrades in arms for social justice and economic freedom. I write from San Janaman Town, Gadawolo District, Grand Cape Mount County this morning. OKFM, I truly agree with Representative Kezulu that Liberia is turning into a one-party state, that the return of the dark days government against the citizens or police, evidenced by that CDC through its youth league mandating all government workers, including servants and ministers, not only stopping there, but asking for photos of their ballot papers indicating that they voted for Representatives Sir Joseph and Marvin Code of Masurado and Bond counties respectively, or else serious action will be taken. This is very much too long, but it's Randolph Jula Malima Kemka, he writes. Let's now rejoin Rokwa Yega to bring us foreign developments.
An Egyptian court has sentenced 75 people to death for their role in the violence that erupted after President Mohamed Morsi's removal in 2013. The group, including leaders of the banned Muslim Brotherhood, are part of a mass trial of more than 700 people. Rights group Amnesty International has called the trial grossly unfair and a violation of Egypt's constitution. And Zimbabwe's ex-president Robert Mugabe has given a surprise press conference on the eve of the nation's elections. Mr. Mugabe said he would not support his successor in the ZANU-PF party, Emmanuel Mnangagwa, after being forced from office by the party. Zimbabweans go to the polls today, Monday, in the first vote since Mr. Mugabe was ousted in November. The foreign news.
We would like to say many thanks to you, Lokwa Yega, for filling us in with the foreign developments. Well, on that note, this is how I would like to go home today on this edition of Newsnet before leaving you a recap of our major stories. President Weah declares that he will be the bridge that will connect Liberia and Liberians as Public Works Minister Mabutu Yimpan discloses that saga over payment of road funds by petroleum importers have been settled. Two Christian clerics gave mixed views on Liberia's path to reconciliation. Bishop Siyankolo pushes for the establishment of War Crimes Court, but Bishop Winger prefers dissenting opinions. Says forgiveness is the way forward. Representative Hassan Kezulu says Liberia is at the verge of sliding back to a one-party democracy if those compelling citizens to join one party are not resisted. And away from Liberia, Egyptian courts sentenced 75 people to death for their role in the violence that erupted from President Mohamed Morsi removal in 2013, as Zimbabwe's ex-president Robert Mugabe says he will not support his successor in the ZANU-PF party. We would like to say many thanks to our news team for successfully packaging this edition. Rokwe Hieka was here with a news bulletin and later brought you foreign developments. Eddie Punisata controls and produced the sound. And on behalf of the entire team here at OK Communications Incorporated, I presented Olive Stevenson. Do have yourself a pleasant morning. And for more news on this station, you can log on to www.okfmlr.com. Thanks for watching and listening.